This conference will now be recorded.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. I'm glad we're able to get our technical difficulties sorted out. Thank you for everyone's help on that. Much appreciated. I'm going to call this meeting to order and just wanted to double check disclosure of pecuniary interest. Anybody? No conflicts anywhere? Fantastic. And I'm sorry, but I seem to have bad connection today as well. So everybody's very blurry. So when you're raising your hand, wave it wildly so that I can actually see the movement happening. So we'll start with the approval of the agenda. Is there someone that would motion to approve it? John? Great, thank you. And is there a second? Was Ralph?
No.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, perfect, thank you. And we'll do the same for the previous minutes. I'm assuming everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes. Can I have a motion to approve those minutes? Ralph, and someone to second that? John, again, thank you. And all in favor? Thanks, Andrew. Everybody?
All in favor.
Perfect, thank you. And I think that was it for that. So we're jumping straight into the delegations. Is there someone on this meeting that wants to do welcomes and introductions of the new people here today? Or should we just let Kim introduce herself?
I'm happy to do that.
Okay, you do it. You introduce yourself then. Thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate it. Lots of conversations about your area, so we're looking forward to learning more about it.
Sure. So thank you for asking me to be a part of your meeting today. I really appreciate it. My name is Kim Heaton, and I have been with the town of Mono as your Director of Recreation for the past 33 years now. So have a little bit of background as far as things that have gone on, and certainly am happy to share any of that with all of you. The questions that I had put forward to me here on your agenda regarding recreation programming through the DEI lens, I was thinking about my response to that, and I thought, has there ever been a time when we have not been open to anyone and everyone attending our programs? And the answer to that is absolutely not. We certainly encourage all and everyone to participate in our programs. I think a prime example of that is the Halloween party that we just had, where we entertained over 180 children plus 160 adults for 340 people at our community center on October 30th for a great turnout. And anyone and everyone was encouraged to attend. When we did the when we looked at the visitation, the registrations, all of the people that were there, except for one family, were from within Dufferin. So there was one family from Bolton. Other than that, all families were from the Dufferin area. The other program that I really am happy about is our soccer program. We started that program approximately 6 or 7 years ago, and we had about 20 children. We're now up to 180 children that participate in our soccer program on a regular basis every summer. We run it for 10 weeks in the summer. And again, it is open to the children of Dufferin to come and play. And we have a waiting list every year for the registrations on that program. So as far as being open to all, we encourage all to come. We absolutely encourage that. The second question was facility availability for committee functions. Yes, as with all other committees or departments within Mono who want to use Menora or Mono Center, you are more than welcome. And there is a cost incurred to use the building, which can certainly be requested over to council for the rental fee to be waived. Of course, the rental fee is charged on a non-profit basis for a community group. It's a low fee, but it basically covers the cost of cleaning and the hard costs involved in having the building open. But you'd be more than welcome to use either of the buildings for any type of event you wanted to hold. So questions or comments?
Sorry, go ahead, Ralph.
Kim, you've mentioned the two events, soccer and the Halloween party, which are very successful, and as you know, council is very impressed with how they've gone. However, you have a lot more responsibilities than that, and I wonder if you could just outline them for the committee, because I think most of us don't know it unless we have been poring over the budget, etc.
Sure. Okay, well, let's start in January. A program that we run in January, we've been doing that now for over 30 years, is our Winterfest. Again, we had a hiatus of 2 years with that because of COVID, but we will be back 2 years. We will be back this year with Winterfest. In February, we run a Valentine's Euchre evening. In April, we started last year, was the first year, and we will be carrying this on as an annual event, and it's called Make Mono Shine. We hold it on Earth Day, and it is an event where we look to reduce, reuse, recycle is basically what our motto for that day is. We invite local partners to come, such as the County of Dufferin, their recycling committee or department, to come forward and have information available for the public. We have the Bruce Trail come forward. Anything to do with the environment, we invite those types of groups, and we're looking to make that bigger and better this year, April 2023. We've normally run in May a event called Mono on a Bike. Unfortunately, I think COVID got the better of us on this one, and our attendance at that one hasn't been terrific over the last few years. So I believe it was September's RAC meeting, Recreation Advisory Committee meeting, and we've decided to not go forward with Mono on a Bike for this year, for 2023. Where am I? In June. June is our soccer program where we start that, and it runs from approximately mid-June to the end of August. We also have, where am I? So that takes us up to August, and then September, we run PD camp days and other on professional development days at within the local school boards. We run one-day programs out of our community centers for the children to come and participate in. In November, the program that we're running is a Home Alone workshop to teach the children safety when they're being left alone. It's run for 9 to 12-year-olds. We have 20 spots available. We have 1 spot left for it, and it's probably got sold today. Other programs we're running, wreath and wine workshops. We've got 2 of those running this year. November 17th, and it was a sellout. We now have a second program running November 22nd, 20 people coming to Menora. We've got a local crafter coming in, and she will teach everyone how to make a live wreath, and that should be a great night. or 2 nights, 17th and 22nd. And this weekend, we also have our 3R Christmas Bazaar, and it stands for Rejoice, Rejoice, Rejoice. And that's running at Menor Park. We have 34 vendors coming, and that's a sellout crowd for us. Again, that started just before COVID. We had approximately 12 vendors the first year, and now here we are the second time we're running it, and we have a waiting list of vendors hoping to get in for this Saturday, but looks like we're pretty much sold out at this point. So yeah, we're always open to new programs. We're busy. A lot of this is done through staff, and the larger special events are run with the assistance of the Recreation Advisory Committee, which right now is sitting at a membership of 5 people. So it's a very, very busy time for all of the volunteers who are involved.
Can I follow up with another question, Christine? So, as you know, our community is becoming, excuse me, our community is becoming increasingly diverse. I don't have the 2021 census information, but I do the 2016, and it's not for Mono, it's for Dufferin, so it's not entirely comparable, but there's about 5% of the population is a visible minority, with Asians being the predominant one, and blacks being the next most common one. I'd like to know what evidence you have that these programs are inclusive of these racial groups.
Well, I think that's just strictly by my and RAC committee members being there, is we visually see that we have Asians and Black people, and they participate in our programs. I mean, we don't have on our registration forms to ask anything like that, but just visually, we know that they are participating.
So if I could just build on Ralph's comment there, I think one of the reasons we asked for you to come and do a presentation is because we were talking about when we're organizing events and recreation events for the community, what DEI lens is being looked at when we're doing everything from organizing the event to marketing it to making sure that people that wouldn't generally be at these events are being specifically targeted to feel more welcome, whether it's, you know, their gender or their race or their age, or I've even where I work now, whenever we do an event, we have a DEI lens that we look at it and we say, okay, what language are we using that will be more inclusive to this community, and what marketing material are we using to ensure that someone that may not normally look at doing that event would feel more welcome to attend that. So I think that we were, Ralph, if I'm wrong, let me know, but I think that's what we were, why we asked you to come, is because we're just interested in understanding what are we doing as a community to make sure that it's not the same old people that are always attending the events, that we are making sure that as this community becomes more diverse, we are making sure that they're being reached out to feel that they're welcome in these. And I'm sure I went on too long about that. And feel free, anybody else on the committee, to jump in to expand on that if you like.
Well, I think just, for instance, on our flyer design for the Home Alone workshop, we included the pictures of the children on the flyer were of different ethnic groups that are on the flyer. So we're not just sticking with, you know, a regular, how do I say, like we're reaching out to make sure that that is shown on the flyers. And then we also put that our flyers are available in alternate format at the bottom of flyers. It should, you know, if anyone requests alternate format, we will make that available to them.
Okay, so what are you saying?
I'll also just jump in here. just to include that, all the events are very low barrier to entry. So they're either free, or if it is pay to play, it's at a very, very low cost, whether that's raffle tickets or participation fees, as well as food service. Like it's all at a very, very low cost. At cost, if anything, and these events don't really make a profit. They're just to cover operational costs. So there is a very low barrier to entry to be very inclusive and be able and welcoming to a diverse group.
Andrew, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, I'm truly amazed by your presentation, Kim. It was really wonderful, and there's a lot of stuff there. I don't know how you explained it all without looking at notes too much, but it was really good. When I first started this committee, I've always thought about cricket, and supposedly in Mississauga, Brampton, Peel, cricket is a really big sport. So I'm wondering that might be something that might be interesting to start, like some kind of a cricket, because it's an international sport, not so much in Canada so far, but it's really becoming big in down south in the Peel and Mississauga areas, along with skateboarding, believe it or not. They're building more skateboard parks and cricket fields than they are hockey arenas. So that's just a point of information I wanted to convey. That's what I was thinking when I first joined this committee. So thank you, and thank you for all your good service.
You're welcome. I'll just follow up on the cricket. We were approached a few years ago about cricket, and there was some background done into that. Cricket requires an enormous field in order to play. And so what we did was we reached out. Unfortunately, our fields weren't large enough to accommodate cricket. Nor were we do have some challenges at some of our parks as far as parking facilities that are available. So one of the things we did do was reach out to some of our neighbors, and I'm happy to let you know, if you're not already aware, that a cricket field is going in, if it hasn't already gone in, up in Shelburne.
That's great. Thank you.
Fantastic. John?
Kim, I'm wondering whether or not there's been any thought given to cooking classes that feature various cuisines from different parts of the world. We have a number of restaurants in Mono that aren't open 7 days a week. They could be approached from the standpoint of one day that they're dark. They could be earning a little bit of money, but at the same time hosting somebody who is prepared to introduce people to whether it be Syrian cooking or various other cooking from different parts of the world. I think that they wouldn't be large classes, but I think they could be classes where you could, in fact, charge a reasonable amount of money for it and have a terrific uptake.
I think that's a great idea. We used to years ago run cooking classes during the year, but they'd be focused more on like one time we ran an appetizer cooking class. Another time we ran a Christmas cooking class. We've run dessert cooking classes. But this is a great idea. I love it. I think that's an awesome idea. I can certainly pursue it.
And from the standpoint of this committee, I think we would be keen to see the notion of different cultures, cuisines being part of this. I mean, it's fun to do appetizers. I think we can all do appetizers, but whether we can do something from another culture, I think
Well,
would be
that's what I
the.
mean. I agree with you. So I'm saying instead of doing appetizers, we'll do, different um, cultures cooking classes. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, that's a great idea, John. I think they'd be really well attended too, actually. Especially if you're able to get the restaurants involved and you can actually go to that Indian restaurant or that Jamaican restaurant and actually do a session with the chef there. I think that would be something I would certainly sign up for. Sure.
They don't necessarily have to be in Mono, but we do have restaurants in Mono. The equipment's there. It's dark 1 or 2 nights of the week, and it's a way of repurposing. And this has gone on during COVID, where in fact restaurants have literally rented themselves out to pop up opportunities, and I think this would be the same sort of thing.
Hi, does the
Thank you.
community center have a health board approved kitchen?
Yes, we do.
Oh, so that would be a great location.
Mhm. As a matter of fact, it was just inspected today.
Kim,
Yeah,
could
I
you,
mean, we could possibly do it, one of two ways. The way we used to do our cooking classes was right at the community centers. We have 3 stoves in each of our kitchens. Um, and so, I mean, we could possibly do it that way or possibly do it at the restaurant. I could certainly explore, different ways of approaching it.
I think featuring different national cuisines would be a big draw.
It's a great idea. I'm very, this department is very, very open to ideas, to be brought forward and explored. Absolutely, because sometimes you just run out of ideas. So by all means, please, feel free to email me or call me or whatever. I am more than happy to listen to your ideas in this regard.
Kim, do you get a lot of requests for things like, if someone wants to hold a Diwali festival celebration or a Chinese New Year or something like that? Do you get many requests for things like that or not really?
No. No, we don't. We haven't had any. Um, I will say I'm watching the rentals at our community centers change, where they are becoming. We seem to be serving, expanding in the diversity of the populations that are renting the halls now. And the different type of events that are going on. I'm talking about weddings and that sort of thing. We certainly are expanding or seeing much more popularity in different ethnicities approaching us and holding their celebrations.
That's great to hear. I mean, it would be good even if we could get the word out that this is a great place to hold their culturally, relevant celebrations there. That would certainly help people see that there's spaces that they could hold these events in. It'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
Kim, could you outline the activities in the town with respect to tennis and pickleball? I don't think you touched on that.
Oh, sure. So,
Also, I can just add it before I forget. Let us know how these activities are reaching out to the entire population.
sure. So one of the things our department does here is we work very closely with various user groups within the community. Those user groups, off the top of my head, we work very closely with the Mono Nordic Ski Club, the newly formed Mono Pickleball Club, the Menor Lawn Bowling Club, the Rowing Club. We work closely, we support the Bruce Trail organization. Who am I missing? Anyways,
Mono
local
Center.
organizations. Pardon me?
I was going to say a Mono Center a tennis club.
Oh, yes, and the tennis club. And one of the programs, or one of the projects that I'm really happy about and proud to talk about, is the support that we've received from council as far as our tennis and pickleball clubs are concerned. We presently are in the process of completing 2 new tennis courts up at Island Lake Family Park, and that's really exciting. We also have been working with a local group who are now a formal group called the Mono Pickleball Club. They started out approximately 6-7 years ago, and they approached us, and we're looking for places to play pickleball, and we agreed to let them, at the time, they started out by taping lines onto the tennis courts over at the Mono College Park tennis court facility. So they would tape pickleball lines on. That's how it started the first year. The second year, they actually got to hand paint lines on. And this sport, pickleball, has grown so rapidly, and Mono has been an extreme champion of and supporter of the club, that council in the 2022 budget put monies forward to support the well, we had some challenges on the court surfaces at the Mono College courts with drainage, and it was turning out we were going to have to completely revamp the surfaces of those courts. So what we've decided to do, instead of putting 2 more tennis courts in, is we're going to be replacing those courts with 6 pickleball courts. And pickleball, I don't know if you follow it, it's an incredibly growing sport. Like I said, about 7 years ago, the group started out with probably about 6 or 7 members, and they would play twice a week. They now play 7 days a week, 3 to 4 hours a day, and they have over 150 members. So it's an incredible organization. As well as that organization, as Ralph mentioned, the Mono Tennis Club, we're also working very closely with them at their project up here at the Mono Center courts. And we're going through the process and applications right now that are needed in order to be able to build an additional 2 courts at the Mono Community Center tennis court facility, along with washroom facilities and an expanded parking lot. And what I really like about this project is these courts are being built as fully accessible tennis courts. So we will be the only facility within Dufferin, is actually as far as Guelph, that has accessible tennis courts. So we will be encouraging wheelchair tennis to be played out at Mono Center. So there's lots happening.
So the other part of my question, and I'll just give a little introduction to it. We have it, and I'm more aware of it because I've been knocking on doors for the last 2 months for the election. A lot of new people coming to Mono, and I'm wondering, maybe Mayor Creelman can help answer this. But what do we as a municipality do to make these people welcome and to acquaint them of what's going on here, and more than acquaint them, but to invite them to take part in many of these items and tell them how they can get involved with pickleball, or how they can get involved with lawn bowling, or whatever? Are we doing anything like that?
We have a brochure and an online presence for the brochure. that tells you all the various things you can do in Mono and various amenities and so forth. I think it's probably too large, and maybe we can redesign it in such a fashion that it cuts to the chase a little faster. But it's actually fairly good material, but I think we do a good job of hiding it. It's not necessarily a welcome wagon kind of experience. So, and certainly promotion of the recreational opportunities is part of that. But there's also a lot of other stuff in it that, you know, I'd say it needs to be reorganized from the standpoint of where it places emphasis and how we distribute it, and whether or not it is part of a package that a realtor hands over to a client who has purchased a property in the town. We need to do some work on it.
I wonder if it wouldn't be good for the town to be handing something to people so that they felt that the town was welcoming them. And the town does have access to this information because they know when a property is registered under a new name. And so there's a mechanism that could be brought into play to do this. And more than a single brochure, there might be a place for more than that, maybe follow-up brochures or even a phone call. A personal touch makes a big difference in helping somebody to feel welcome. When I was canvassing last time, which is 4 years ago, and canvassing in the Fieldstone area in particular, that's recently settled. I'm not sure how long it is now, maybe it's 7 or 8 years now. But I had a feeling there that a lot of those people, they're all newcomers. They weren't quite sure how welcome they felt to be here. And of course, quite a few of them are from the Asian community too, which maybe makes them, maybe in some cases, gives them some reluctance to get involved. Anybody like that idea or what?
I would have loved that when I moved to Mono. I would have loved something to help direct me where to find information. It's taken me over a year to find many things, so that would have been wonderful. So that's a great idea. Does anybody else have anything to add, or we'll let Kim go so she can enjoy her evening?
Well, I don't think I quite got the answer to my second part of my question, Kim, which is, and I know that you're a little bit arm's length because these clubs that run themselves, we're very supportive of them, but are you doing or are they doing anything to reach out to, so we say, parts of the community that might not know about them or are disadvantaged?
Well, I do know that the pickleball club, they offer, they do have a brochure. They're a very open arms type club in that they welcome people to come out. They can play. There's no cost to come and try. As a matter of fact, they give free lessons to people. They offer them use of, you don't even have to bring a racket. The pickleball club provides it. And I know that the tennis club does the same thing in that they have an incredible children's program that is, I don't think you'll find anywhere any program that is as low cost to participate in as the tennis program that the Mono Tennis Club offers. So as far as, you know, cost being a barrier, neither one of these clubs have that type of challenge. They certainly open that up most definitely and welcome everyone to come and play, and they make it quite, you know, quite easy by offering these programs, and they don't even have to bring equipment.
I have one more question. What is the situation for people who can't pay for things? For instance, this last safety session was, I think, $50. And I'm sure there are lots of people who thought that was a great thing for their kids, but they looked at the $50 and said, I'm having trouble buying my food. I can't afford that. So is there any way that somebody who can come to you and say, we can't pay for soccer, can it be subsidized? Or and if so, do we make that known to people?
Actually, we don't have that type of program. We've not set up anything in that regard, and I certainly would. I certainly I hate turning children away. Let's just put it that way. I want our programs to be open to all, and I think if someone came and spoke to me, I in turn would come and speak to council to see how we would like to handle those situations.
Okay, so it sounds like it's a situation you haven't been dealing with.
We haven't. It hasn't been one that's been brought forward. Now, the town of Mono for many years supported my participation in a program called Jumpstart. It's the Canadian Tire program where children, exactly as you just mentioned, Ralph, are not able to financially participate in programs. Jumpstart is a venture put on by Canadian Tire where you can apply and be subsidized for participating in these programs. And the town of Mono, I will say, at a time when Jumpstart was having challenges getting off their feet, the town of Mono supported my working with Jumpstart. And as a matter of fact, through this desk, we processed probably upwards of 200 applications for children to be able to participate in local sporting programs. And as Jumpstart got off their feet, more and more people started to volunteer, and I was able to step away from that program. But I certainly keep in touch with them. However, that was something that here in Mona was supported by council in order to allow children to participate in programs.
And Kim, it's not now?
Jumpstart still exists. However, they have volunteers in place now that process these applications. So no longer do I have to process the applications, or am I processing it for them?
But
They have a number of volunteers in place to do that.
in theory, though, Mono kids can go through that program. There's no
100%.
impediment to that.
No.
Okay.
No. And if ever I received a call, I would certainly direct people to the program.
Further questions for Kim? Once, twice. Well, thank you, Kim, for taking your time to come and speak with us. It was very helpful.
One last question. Sorry, Christine.
Okay.
Any thoughts on a skateboard park in Mono?
Oh, skateboard parks. Again, skateboard parks is something I've looked at. Skateboard parks present incredible liability. So I have to say it's not something I've looked at them. I've certainly, when I've been to my conferences, little mini skateboard parks are set up, and I have to tell you, you're talking to a person who, as a result of being on a skateboard, I shattered my elbow, my radial head. So, yeah, I'm not the greatest person on a skateboard, that's for sure. But I am much happier to go forward with the skating rinks that we put in, that type of thing. We've got a 4th skating rink going in this year that council has approved. So 4 outdoor skating rinks, and that's an incredible venture, and we're able to accommodate so many people at these rinks. It's a great program. you know, Andrew, I understand the thing about skateboards. We have our multi-purpose pads. I don't know if you're aware of those, but we have two 60 by 120 foot multi-purpose pads. One's at Mono College Park, or one's at Mono Center Park, and the other's at Medill Meadows. And these multi-purpose pads are fabulous surfaces for learning how to skateboard. No, we don't have any ramps or anything there, but certainly kids can go out there. It provides, you know, them with a safe place to skateboard with children who are living on country roads, like the dirt roads.
Right.
These places are phenomenal. Like these two pads are the best places I can think of. One, to learn a bike, and two, to learn how to skateboard.
Yeah.
And we have
I'm that type.
basketball and things like that at them too.
I like skateboarding on flat ground like that. So doing freestyle, the old school freestyle, and I'm still skateboarding at 65. So that's why I'm really interested in skateboard parks.
Well, you know, I invite you, encourage you to, you know, try out the multi-purpose pads at these two facilities. They're just great. And
I
I do
barely knew.
absolutely, I do see kids skateboarding on them, but
Yeah.
do we have
Very,
anything like
very
we have in
interesting.
Toronto or the big parks or the big cities? No, we don't have anything like
Yeah,
that.
and I know the liability issues are huge. And I was surprised when I heard that when you play hockey, they want you to produce your house insurance for your child in case there's some issues. So I never knew that before. We never dealt with that when I was a kid playing hockey. But nowadays, they want to have your kid covered by an insurance policy, your house insurance policy, and you have to let your insurance company know. So everything is a liability. Like you can't even toboggan in Orangeville anymore. So
Well,
toboggan.
we have a tobogganing hill in Mono. We sign it. We inspect it on a regular basis. We put hay bales out. So I'm happy to say that we do toboggan in Mono.
But what a great presentation. Thank you, Kim.
You're welcome. And like I said, if there's any ideas that you have, please by all means just email me or give me a call. I'd love to hear from you.
Great. Thanks for your help. I appreciate it.
You're
Johnny-
welcome. Have a good meeting, you guys.
John Ado had a question.
Okay.
I just want to, I started playing pickleball there a couple of years ago. And I just want to pass on to you, Kim, that the executive there have been very appreciative of the support that you've given them in setting up the courts there in Cardinal Woods.
Oh, that's great. Well, they're a great group. They're a great group. Okay. So I'll see you guys all at the first cooking class.
Right. I'm looking for some Vietnamese cooking, okay?
Okay. I'll put it
I want to
down.
know how to make samosas. I want to make really good samosas.
There you go.
I cooked Arabic rice today with vermicelli in it and pine nuts on it. That's what I cooked today.
We're gonna
Well,
up we're gonna up your game, Andrew.
Oh, it was so good.
I'd like to learn how to cook samosas as well. Love
Oh, there you
samosas.
go.
There we go. Okay. Well, have a good evening, you guys. Enjoy your meeting.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Thanks, Kim.
Yeah, I've always wanted to know how to make really good samosas, the vegetarian ones especially. They have so much flavor in them, and I've tried before, and they're always garbage. That was great. John, I during this session, I went off to the side and sent an email to the pickleball club so that I can learn more about it so that I can join next year. So hopefully I'll look to maybe get to play with you one day.
It's really gotten popular because I know just a couple of years ago, there's only a couple dozen people there, but now I think the last time there was over 20 people that went there.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm gonna definitely join that next year for sure. I see that it opens up, membership opens up on the 15th of November. So I asked for some more information on that. Actually, it's quite fascinating. I mean, I find I'm trying to get involved as much as possible, and there's so much I didn't know that the town of Mono offers. I had no idea. I mean, we looked for skating rinks last year, couldn't find anything. And now I hear that Mono has 4. I didn't know that Mono has tobogganing available. So I took loads of notes of things that I'll be able to keep myself busy with. So it would be really great if we could find a way that, everybody knew about all the events, because I'm sure there's so many people that live in the town of Mono that just, do their day-to-day lives and don't really look and see what's out there that they have access to. So it's wonderful to hear about all the things that we'll be able to do. And I've also, after this, I'm going to try and find that wreath and wine workshop on November 22nd and sign up for that as well. It's great. This is a very informative session for me, that's for sure.
Christine?
Yeah.
I'm wondering if we want to pursue this idea a little further about the welcome wagon type thing. It seems to me that this is a really good idea. It's hard when you come to a new place to find out what's available there. And the town's a logical organization to provide that. And if the rest of the group are in agreement with this, I think we should consider a motion to council recommending same. John, you know more about what's available. What are your thoughts?
I absolutely agree with that. I think it's a three-prong approach. Number one, we've got to clean up the material we have, make it more concise. It is very lengthy. And I think that the layout is such that it doesn't really get to the point very quickly. The second thing is I think it should be a vehicle that the realtors use to promote the properties that they are promoting to their clients. And then the third thing is that maybe the town should be the one that also distributes it to new people who move in. I'm happy, along with you, Ralph, to pursue this. We did have an initiative going that has to be followed up on, informing realtors of what they should be saying to prospective buyers of Mono property about some of the amenities and do's and don'ts and so forth. But we need to pick up the pace on this.
Just the recreational opportunities themselves. Even I can hear just at this committee here that, wow, we didn't know that existed. And that just the recreational part of it is a very valuable part. I think that could be a separate thing. Of course, some of that information is available on our website if you can work your way through it. But it might be nice to have a paper thing which was handed out to people or sent to people saying, welcome to Mono. Here's some things that you may be interested in knowing.
Even a volunteer committee, I would certainly sign up for a volunteer committee that would go out once a month and visit to the new homeowner and just say, hey, here's the welcome package. Let me talk to you about some of the great services that we have that you can join. And I'm sure there'd be lots of people that would be willing to do something like that once a month.
So if I hear you're suggesting a personal approach as well, Christine.
Well, I mean, something in the mail to start is great, like just a welcome to Mono envelope that's got something in it. But then if it would be followed up by, hey, my name's Christine, I actually moved here a couple of years ago, and do you have any questions, or let me tell you about some great things that the town offers that you may not have had an opportunity to learn about yet. And I think when you move to, especially if you're moving rural like I did, any opportunities for someone that lives even anywhere near you to come and introduce themselves is really welcomed, actually, because then I know somebody in the town, because we knew not even one person when we moved here. So I would have loved the opportunity to have someone, Amina, come up to me and introduce herself and say, hey, welcome to Mono, and let me tell you what we have here.
Well, if I can.
Was a program like that? Sorry, was there a program like that in the past? Because when Craig and I first moved to Mono back in 2015. We were visited by a Mono resident who brought a welcome box of all sorts of different goodies and had various business cards in there and some small little gifts from the businesses and some information on some of the programs that Mono offered. So I don't know if that was something that a resident just did on their own, or if that was a town initiative.
Maybe that was a Mono Center initiative. I never, I've been here for a long time. I've never seen it. But you're right. I think, Christine, I agree with you. The personal approach is very powerful. If somebody knocks on my door and I've just arrived here and they leave some stuff and they also say, here's a card, give me a call if you want to more information or if I can help you. That's very powerful.
Yeah, it was very welcoming when we got that nice warm welcome knock on the door and just something that gave us some information about some of the programs that Mono Center offered, and it was really heartwarming.
So maybe that'd be a good thing for the recreational committee. Recreation committee. You're quiet now, Helen? Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't really put that as a recreational activity, but I could certainly bring it up with Kim. It doesn't really fall under our mandate today, but
it'd be a pretty big thing to take on because we have quite a few new residents every year.
And perhaps it does it with all the new residents that have been coming into Mono the past couple of years. Maybe it's an event that can be held rather than going just door to door.
That's an idea.
Well, my thought is if I could interject, is that there really, as you say, we got to clean up the website. I think there should be a dedicated website just for recreation, and maybe on the Mono webpage, a direct link that would take you to all the different activities. I was so surprised to hear all the different things that I did not even know about. So, yeah, maybe a dedicated link in a website. I know this takes a lot of time and energy by somebody to do all of that, but that would be great. I wouldn't even know where to start to look for some of these activities. So maybe a dedicated website directly with our diversity, equity, and inclusion banner or cover page or something like that. So just a thought.
Sorry, I just want to add too. I received the same welcome basket in 2011 with the gift cards and welcome message from Mono. I don't know, and my neighbor also received the same thing. So I don't know if this is related to the town of Mono or just some initiative around.
We'll follow up. It's quite a mystery to me.
Well, it was quite helpful, and I really felt happy because somebody welcomed me. Because when I came here, it was like it's a new community, and I felt isolated, but I was welcomed actually.
Terrific.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful to hear.
I think we have our work cut out for us on this.
I think so. I'm looking at the recreation. I did a search on our website under recreation, and it does mention things such as the ski club, the tennis club, the bowling club, and trails. I think this needs to be redone and expanded so that people have more information. And maybe this is a recommendation that we should be making to the town as well.
I lost the screen for some reason. So are there anything else we'd like to talk about this at the moment, or should we move on to the next agenda, which actually, if we look at unfinished business, the community survey that would have closed 2 days ago, I think. Does anyone know if we had a better response rate than last time? I think we only had, what, 26 last time. Do we know if we have any more this time?
Well,
I guess Fred would be the one,
we were up in the 40s last week. I don't know where it is now.
My understanding is that it essentially doubled as a result of being kept open. And I don't know why we don't keep it open longer, frankly.
Yeah, for me, 40 isn't really enough to get a good opinion of the town. But actually, it speaks volumes, really, because if most people didn't fill it out, I think there's a pretty safe assumption that they don't, or they haven't experienced any diversity issues. Because if there had been a lot of issues, I think we would have found that there would have been a lot more people that filled out that survey.
Or it didn't get in front of those people who do have the issues.
Or it didn't get in front of those people. Yeah, that's hard.
It is front and center on our website. If you go to Town of Mono, you'll see that it's really the first item.
Yep.
And I'd be in favor of keeping it there for several more weeks, if not longer. I mean, it's the kind of thing where, why have a cutoff?
Yep, why not?
Are we putting it out on social media? Sorry. Are we putting it out on social media, like on Facebook and Twitter and Snapchat? Do we aggregate it through?
I believe so, Andrew.
Because I haven't seen it come up. And
Yeah, it was put on those a couple of times, Andrew.
okay.
We also ran an ad in the banner.
All that. Okay, well, I don't know, I think it would have closed now because I thought, wasn't their original closing date of November 7th? So maybe we could ask Fred to have it opened up again.
Yeah, we could. No
Maybe
problem.
Leave it until the end of the year, and then in January, it could be one of our first agenda items to review.
I think that's a good idea.
So will you do that, Christine?
Reach out to Fred to ask him?
Right.
Yep.
And what are we going to do about the idea of updating the welcome wagon information and getting something more out about what's available in Mono to new residents?
I can pursue that. And Ralph, as you know, a number of us want to see a wholesale revision of our website and social messaging and better use of email and so forth. It's a topic that I want to take up with our senior staff.
Okay.
So we'll just add that to the content for the town's website, that those are the items that will be reviewed further, John?
Yes.
That's part of it.
I think that will cover it in addition to the discussion we had specifically about the welcoming messages for people moving into the community.
So John, we need to set up some mechanism to identify these people through probably through Les's office. Maybe, I'm not sure what's the mechanism, but some mechanism so we could find out who is a new resident.
I think it's a combination of two departments. One would be Treasury, obviously, but the other one would be planning, in as much as there are inquiries made about properties, and there may be and Mike Dunmore has come on. Maybe Mike has a better sense of this. When somebody purchases a property in the town, how do we find out about it?
So thanks, John. So the tax department would receive notification of a new owner because we changed the name. Could be a week, could be a month after it starts, but generally it would come through the tax department. And then you have your people that would come to the front counter, and there would also be some people that would come through the water department. on the municipal water system down in the south end. So sorry, did that come through?
Yeah, that
Yep,
came through.
it
I
is.
just-
I was
We're
just
just,
waiting to see if anyone else is going to add.
we're just digesting it, Mike. That's why there's the silence. Well, that's very logical. You know, so then the mechanism would have to be that somebody on staff would get these the names as they turned up, and then process would go forward from there.
Yeah, so I would recommend from a process point of view that the DEI committee would recommend to council that council investigate a welcome wagon is probably a protected name. My research tells me that after 90 years in business, they had to close their doors for financial struggles. I too received a package when I lived in Beaton, so similar to Emma and various people that have talked about it. They've gone out of business, but there is a welcome wagon that uses the mail and internet reach out, but that would not be the basket that people generally receive. So that would be I don't know if welcome wagon name would be copyrighted, but
we're using the term generically, I think.
Yep.
To describe, a process as opposed to
I think that'd be a great recommendation of the committee to council for staff to investigate, same. Should council approve it?
I so move if that helps.
We need a seconder.
All in favor?
Okay, Michelle, we'll put that in the minutes for you, for sure.
Right.
And I'm wondering if the survey, I don't know how you did the first survey extension, but does it need a process, matter of process as well? Or has Christine just reached out to Fred in the past? Or did council direct to keep that open? I'm not sure how your committee's functioning with staff.
I think there was Mike, there was a sort of an informal discussion between Andrew and Fred and John and myself at a beginning of a council meeting, and there was agreed that we would extend it.
So on that matter, I'd recommend that the committee, if they feel strongly about leaving it open till January, that they would move that, second it, and recommend to council in the same recommendation. You could take care of that as well.
Is there a seconder? Ralph? All in favor? Andrew? Yep, everybody's in favor of that. Just as an update, I did reach out to all the DEI chairs and committee members to see if we could sit on some of their sessions, and unfortunately I only received one reply, and that reply passed me to somebody else who said they were going to reach out to organize something, and I haven't heard back. I did have you on that email, Ralph, so I'll have to follow up again to see if they can, maybe we can organize some things probably in the new year at this point.
I would suggest then we just turn up, because they are open meetings and they're open to anybody within Dufferin for sure. And I would suggest if the rest of you agree that one of us just agree to sit in on some of their meetings for maybe the next 6 months or so. That also ties into something I was going to ask John Creelman to do, and that was to explain the process of how this committee, as it comes formally to an end of its term, how that would continue with all of you on the committee.
Well, if there's a desire to continue, I think that will be very well received by the new council. We have one new member only, so it's not a process that is unfamiliar to 4 of the 5 members of council. And we will be going through a process of determining the membership of each of our committees. And it's not uncommon that if there's a desire to continue, that we simply do that. I mean, and in reality, each committee remains alive and functioning until it gets reviewed by the council in the new year. So I think we carry on as we have. I think we're making very good progress, and we may try to see if there's some more individuals who would like to serve on this committee, but I think council's generally very happy with the current membership and the progress we're making.
So if I could add to that a little bit, I think that it's quite probable that each of you will receive a letter asking if you'd like to continue on the committee. And that all you need to say is yes, that you do not need to make a formal application as a new member would.
When does this formally end? Is it December?
Well, it ends and it doesn't end. I mean, it goes to the end of council's term, which is December 6th. But traditionally, committees have continued working until such time as they're, renewed, as it were.
Which could be February.
And under new business, I see that the information is up on the immigration on the census now. I wasn't clear though, are we all just going to go through it ourselves and see what we can find, or was someone going to prepare a summary to let us know how the town of Mono has changed since the last census?
If I could suggest that it's a difficult document, at least I spent 10 or 15 minutes on it today and couldn't extract the information, but there are some people on the council, on the staff that are very good at that, particularly Dave Troppman, and I would be pleased to ask Dave if he could do that for us.
Can I suggest we defer it to staff and take it up at our next meeting?
That'd be great if someone could do a presentation if they're able to summarize, the information from a DEI perspective at the next meeting. One of the staff could do that. I don't know if there's someone on the team that could summarize that for us.
Well, it's actually a fairly simple thing once you know how to do it, and then you can print out a page which lists I have the one from 216 here in front of me, and it lists about 15 different minority groups and the population of each. Very, very useful. We should have that information for sure.
Fantastic. Is there anything else we'd like to add for new business?
Yeah, I'd just like to mea culpa. I said that I would get some information out to you about a suggestion of the information that we put on the website under the DEI page, and I have not done it yet. My excuse is that I was too busy campaigning the election, and then when it was all done, I was too tired to do anything else.
Too tired, I can understand. That makes sense. No problem, Ralph. I know you were very busy. Even I got the card on the door saying, "Sorry, I missed you," which I was sorry I missed. I'm sure you were very, if you're coming all the way out to these houses, I'm sure you were very busy.
But my intention is, and I'll do this in the next couple of days, is just to put out a list of topics that I think are appropriate to have on our website under this committee, and I'll send it around to all of you. And if you could please just have a look at it and add to it or subtract or whatever, you give me your comments, and then I'll go ahead and start collecting information. There's a lot of information out there. We don't redo this. We can make use of information on multiple websites. It'd be nice to have it available in one place on the Town of Mono site.
Are there any items anybody would like added to the next agenda?
Well, I have one question is, do you, what would be the next area of the town's activities that we'd like to review? We've done recreation today, and I thought it went quite well. There's planning, there's finance, there's public works. I think we should take one of these, and then we can give whoever's the director an opportunity to respond and set up a date that's suitable with them if our regular meeting is not suitable.
Can I make a suggestion? Because some of these are more administrative than service delivery, which we dealt with a service delivery focus this evening. Maybe we could bundle a number of the departments together for purposes of a presentation here, so that we're not going department by department when the focus is on administrative activity and outreach to the community versus service delivery. May make it easier for us. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it makes sense. I just want to make sure whoever we're having coming doing a presentation, it's really focused on the DEI perspective. And so, I mean, I don't know each of those areas. Do they
My
have a DEI?
suggestion might be that our CAO participate at the next meeting and address the various other departments from a DEI lens. I mean, we could have the planning director in, we could have the treasurer in, we could have Mike in, we could have Mark in, and this would go on for a very, very long time. But because most of these activities, maybe with the exception of Mike's, which is a tangible service delivery in as much as roads is a service. But some of these other functions, I think, are more administrative than they are delivery of a tangible service.
So I partially agree with you, John. Finance is really something that we all deal with, and it's important to know that that's looking at it through the DEI lens. And planning is something that people are only involved with on an occasional basis, but when they are, it's a huge part of their concerns. Maybe we could bundle those two together.
Well, and then you could say clerk's department. I'm just saying, trying to think off the top of my head about how to do this efficiently. Today was very important because we learned a lot about, recreational programs. And that is, I think, distinctly different than what the treasurer does. Christine, can this be something that is left to us to sort out between now and our next meeting?
I agree that would be something that I would think that you and Ralph could probably work through, because I mean, I can't speak for everybody else, but I don't think I'm familiar enough with all the different areas in the town of Mona, what they do and how they're related to DEI. So I think that would be better, what you suggest, John.
Ralph, I didn't intend to throw a spanner into this. I'm just trying to sort of think about it, logically.
Okay, well, why don't John and I put our heads together on this a little bit, and rather than take everybody's time and make a recommendation. I see probably, well, I shouldn't say too much because I haven't talked to John further. Well, I see 2 or 3 more meetings in which we're looking at various things. The other big issue, I think, in many people's mind is how the town relates to them through the various portals that you come to contact the town. You walk in the door and you meet the desk there, and how is that dealt with? You phone up and you make a complaint, and how is that dealt with? And how do we have a process, and how do people who can't speak the language, how are they dealt with? So I think that there's a number of areas that we should be looking at. And I think you're right, John. Some areas such as finance and planning, they're not very big.
Yeah, the customer service piece, I think, is the important part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we've got to get our head around how we focus on customer service for for the entire community. And we do have certain approaches to customer service that Ralph's got an assistant there.
Yeah, right. He's very hungry. He's very hungry.
But I am really keen on the whole issue of customer service and improving it and making certain that people are dealt with in an efficient and expeditious fashion. And that does come in. There is a DEI lens that can be applied to that.
Yeah, I agree. Efficiency would be something that could be improved on in the town of Mono with my own situations that are going on. So I do think there does need to be customer service looked at a little bit more carefully, and efficiency for sure. For sure. Yeah. Okay, that's great. Thank you very much for taking that on. I appreciate it. Is there anything else you want to add to the next agenda? Nope. So I'll put a motion forward to adjourn this meeting. Anyone want? Hey, Ralph, is there a seconder? Thank you, John. Thank you, Andrew. All in favor of adjourning this meeting? Great, wonderful. Thank you, everybody. It was lovely seeing you. And our next meeting, I think, is on December 14th, in case it's not in your calendar already, at 5:30. And if you weren't at the last meeting, we did agree that this meeting would be online and not in person, as was suggested a few months ago.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.